What is going on, Aqua Pros? We are back over here at the 33. Today, I finally want to get my hands in this tank and make some changes. We're also going to be adding some fish to it. I hope you guys enjoy what we're working on today. But let's talk about it. So, down here, I have a bunch of red lava rock, some big pieces. There's my hand for comparison. That's a nice piece. The only thing is that we have two different types, I guess. This stuff is more sintery, I guess, if that, like, hear that? This stuff, I don't know, it's a different type of rock than this, right? Like, they're both lava rocks, so to speak, but they're a little bit different, and these are obviously a little bit darker colored. I want to get some color into this tank. I also have some wood over here. You guys saw these pieces in the last video, or one of the more recent ones. These pieces of spider wood, I don't know, we might play with those, but I just need to get my hands in this tank and kind of feel it out. Like, I don't hate it, I need to just make a little bit of a change. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out the trees in here, and then we're gonna replace in that area, we're gonna put some rock, maybe some wood. I don't know yet. I don't know. We're gonna just kind of experiment today, play around, trim the tank up, and then put some fish in it. So let's go ahead and get started. Quick side note before we continue, guys. Have you ever had Lacroix? It's like flavored sparkling water. There's a bunch of different flavors. I don't know. I knew it existed, but I'd never had it until recently, and it's super good. This is mango flavor. My God. I'm drinking like 3 or 4 of them a day, at least. Just saying. Just saying. The first thing I gotta do is pull these trees out. Now, they're just sitting down here, so that's not gonna be difficult. Let's see. Yeah, those just come up real nice. We'll go set these somewhere where they're gonna stay alive. There's so much Anubias nana petite on here. We can't be killing these things. Let's just put these down here for now. Go ahead and grab the other one here. A little bit of BBA on these guys. You'll also see that there's a ton of moss attached to the base of this thing, which is pretty cool. Might have to repurpose that moss, might leave it on, don't know. Let's get that thing down here. These things are sweet. So now we have this bald spot back here where the trees were. No big deal, because we're gonna fill that in with something else. Let me just go ahead and pull this moss out here. Look at that Christmas moss. This stuff grew really well in here, and it just came in as like a couple pieces. So that's always nice to get a little something extra out of there. Let's pull this out and also keep it somewhere safe. There, we won't forget it there. So now let's kind of fill in this area. I mean, I'm gonna do a huge trim on all of this. This stuff is way too tall, but it also just looks really good, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for me to trim that stuff because it's looking so good. So let's go ahead and I don't know, man. Should we try out some of this crazy wood? Let's see what this does. Obviously, it's gonna float and stick up out of the water a considerable amount, but we can get an idea of how that would look. I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's try this smaller piece in here and see what we think. That one, it doesn't stick out the top quite as much. So and it does have a little bit more character. But as we step back and look at the tank as a whole, you know, does it really make sense to have this in here? We could cover it with moss. That might look like, I mean, that might look kind of good. What do you guys think of that? I don't hate this at all. So we have a rock, just one here holding this piece down, which is kind of, in a way, holding this really tall piece down. And I like that it comes out of the top. I think that's kind of cool. It looks nice right now because the wood hasn't been waterlogged. It hasn't been seasoned by the water. So it's really light, it pops really well. But keep in mind, after time, you know, a month from now, this wood's gonna be much darker, and so it won't have as dramatic of an effect like it does now. So I'm thinking about that, and I don't know. I think this is a good start, but we definitely need to see what it looks like with these rocks in. So let's take these pieces out very carefully, starting with this guy. Get him out of here, and then we'll get this guy out. Okay, and we'll be able to get that configuration back if we decide that that's what we want to do. But now I'm gonna have to set the camera down and pick up this big boy. We got one rock in. I like the color, and I'm also lucky because I have this bald spot back here. If I was taking this rock and resting it anywhere else in this tank, I would have to be sure that that's where it wants to be, because that's gonna kill off my carpet that I worked so hard for, the Glosso, and we don't want that. So I have a little bit of leeway to experiment with where I want to put stuff, but let's go ahead and let's grab another one of these rocks. Again, these are the ones that are a slightly different type and a slightly different color. Let's see if I can do this one-handed without scratching the tank. Oh, that was close. Okay, I think I did it. They look very similar underwater, but I'll let you guys be the judge here. We'll stand back. They look pretty much the same, don't they? Look at all the air escaping, that's cool. So that's definitely doable. I can mix these rocks and they're gonna look more or less the same. So here I've just switched the rock's position to see what it would look like. And so far, I'm really leaning towards doing the rock. Let me know if you guys would do the wood or the rock. The only thing with the wood, I think it looks great, but the fact that the contrast it has initially is gonna go away once that wood darkens, I just don't think it's gonna have the same effect. And it's not gonna look as good. It's not gonna pop as much as this will always pop. So that's my thinking behind that. Now, I need to solidify which position I want the rocks to be in, and then I have to make the really hard decisions of, where am I gonna put rocks elsewhere in the scape, because wherever I pick, it's going to crush the Glosso, and I'm not going to have a lot of chances as far as picking up stones, placing them, picking them up, moving them around. So I need to do some thinking, and we'll just see what happens. So here's what we have so far. I'm not 100% in love with it, but we'll keep working on it. I was placing some other rocks over here. The carpet is just too thick, so I think I'm going to go ahead and trim it now, expose all the yellow leaves, and my beautiful looking carpet as it is right now is not going to look good for a while until it starts growing again. I didn't want to have to do it. I wanted to do it at the last minute, but I think it's time. Let's trim this thing. All that trimming made me thirsty. Ow! Oh, yes. I literally want to cry right now. That was a hard thing for me to do, guys, but it's gonna be the right thing to do in the long run. My beautiful carpet. It's just what happens. You let things grow too long, they look good, but you know what's down below. All that yellowing. I'm hoping, this patch back here, the tall stuff, that's going to take the longest to come back, but I think we're going to be able to do it. It's just going to take a while. Man, let's net this stuff up and see how much we came out with. Welp. Oh my gosh. Guys, if this Glosso carpet can come back from this, it can come back from anything. Man. Oh man, I'm really crossing my fingers. We're gonna have to use a lot of fertilizer. So I just drained the tank once, obviously, scooped out all of that Glosso. That's like a week's worth of salad, easy. But now, as the tank fills back up, we're gonna get our new filter ready. So before I was just using this hang-on back filter, which was doing fine, but I needed more flow in the tank, so I was using this Sun power head. Now with the canister filter, I shouldn't have to have that pump in there, which is something I never really wanted to be in the tank in the first place. So this is a 206. I'll throw a link for it down in the description. It's a great canister filter. I mean, it's made by Fluval. a name you can trust. So we're gonna go ahead and hook this bad boy up and hopefully get all the flow we need and all the filtration we need in the tank. Here are the fish. I just went out to the 125 and scooped them up. This is roughly 15 cherry barbs, and yes, there are still fish out in the 125. A lot of you guys have probably never even seen that tank, but trust me, this spring / summer, it's gonna be making a comeback. I also have 1-2 Cory cats in here, and I just didn't think that they were doing too well out in the 125. They were kind of lonely, so I grabbed those two. Let's go ahead and add these guys to the tank. I'm going to do that in just a minute, but here we have the filter all hooked up, and I had to modify the input a little bit because it was too long. This tank is shallow. So there you can see the scape. You can see my super sad carpet. Oh man, but the stems are alive. That's the important part. All that leaf material is yellow and not alive, but the stems from which, you know, the plant's gonna sprout new leaves out of, new vertical growth, that's alive. So that's all we care about. It's just gonna take a long time. I think these fish are gonna go perfect in the tank just because they're red. They're gonna go with the red lava rock that we have in here. They're obviously a lot stronger of a color, but I think it just works out. I mean, we have to imagine what it's gonna look like when this carpet is green again. It just, everything looks weird because it's all yellow. So have to use your imagination a little bit, guys. I know it's tough. The tank looks horrible right now, but we'll see how the rock does. I don't really know. Honestly, the more I look at it, the more I don't like the scape. But again, I'm trying to envision what it would look like when the carpet is green and everything just looks better, I guess. So we'll just have to be patient and just dose a ton of fertilizers in here and hope that we can get this thing green again and where we want it to be. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload the next video. Don't forget to go check out the merch store if you want to help support the channel. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.